Hi, this is Lisa Baudouin. Welcome to Lisa's chat room. I want to mention here right away is I'm just a gal who is a survivor of abuse, who suffers from multiple mental conditions, and I try to get through my life with those issues, and I share that information in my chat room. One of my issues is I have a horrible allergy with formaldehyde. But before I begin, I want to say that I'm not an expert in anything, and whatever I'm saying based on my opinion only, and that whatever I share with you, if you do or you follow, you must do so at your own risk. My suggestion is for you to go out and research things yourself. The videos are basically to bring you awareness. And I talk about wiggling the thumb in my videos. And that's just the process of becoming aware and then focusing and then questioning and then evaluating and putting plans in place and constantly doing that, okay? So the story is that I suffer from horrible allergies due to formaldehyde and formaldehyde-based products. And this started years ago. The first video is out there, and I'm going to put a link to it. And I suggest you just watch my videos and just listen. Take your time watching them. There's filled with information. And each one, I try to cover some things, and then I try to, switch on to a different subject. And I'm taking you on my journey of this allergic issue because it's been a blessing and a curse. The blessing is that I now know that all these chemicals are out there. I'm quite aware of them. The curse is that I'm allergic to them. I have created what I call a playbook plan. And if you watch my videos, you'll find out that's what I do with everything because of my mental conditions. Because my brain doesn't really work like other people's due to my mental conditions. And so the plan is basically to be strategic about things. First of all, to understand what's out there. And I talk about different types of storms. My mental conditions are mental storms, and I talk about societal storms. So a societal storm to me is something like COVID-19, viruses, anger, rioting, injustice, but it is also about chemical exposure, all stuff out there, okay? And I ask myself, well, what can I do about it? How can I make it, first of all, where it doesn't come into my home? How can I share with others so it doesn't come into their home? And then how can we reduce these issues? And so my videos kind of get into things about that. So this issue with formaldehyde for me started many years ago, and it started with certain laundry detergents, which this chemicals, formaldehyde releasers, and even more chemicals are being bombarded into our laundry detergents. It also is in products that we buy, especially imported products, and including like furniture, couches, and also too it is in clothing. Why? Because people are importing these things, are coming overseas, and so they want to stop the mildew and mold from growing in these products. First solution that I thought was, what can we do about it out there, is for clothing, get vacuum containment. You've seen, I'm sure, a bag where you put a vacuum cleaner and it sucks the air out, and then it's just air free and it reduces the size of the bag with the clothes in it. Why doesn't the other countries do that rather than dousing with chemicals? Dr. Oz actually did a segment where they found some chemicals that were over the limitation of what it's supposed to be. So very interesting to me. All right, so first of all, go to the source and say, how about you do this instead? The other thing is create laws that are more stringent so that the limitations are there, they're better. And then also to disclose, because when I go and buy a shirt, it doesn't say, hey, I'm doused in formaldehyde, but I can guarantee you that at least 80% of the clothing that I buy, and again, this is my opinion, it's got formaldehyde on it. And I know this. Now, I am very sensitive to formaldehyde, so maybe the formaldehyde levels are lower, but the point is I don't want them on there at all, okay? Period. Now, a lot of times it's also in wrinkle-free fabrics. I remember back in the day, my granny, everything was cotton, and she actually would spray it down with water and put it in the freezer and then take it out and iron it. And it's so weird because on that Dr. Oz segment that I saw about this, the woman was talking about the formaldehyde. What she said, she takes ice cubes and puts them in the dryer to create a wrinkle-free fabric. And she showed the comparison. The stuff put in the dryer with ice cube came out better than the stuff that just went in with some kind of, I'm not sure what it went in, but just the other stuff, okay? Maybe it went in with some kind of fabric softener. And that fabric softener, by the way, is more than likely, it's got chemicals in it. Sometimes it does have formaldehyde in it, okay? So I can't say it's in everything. There are a couple times where I bought something and it's like, oh, I don't feel it in here. I bought these waterproof protection things for my mattress, and I'm actually using them for my couch, inside the couch too, and I didn't feel it. But I don't know, because I'm not a scientist. I can't test it. And yes, I'm highly sensitive to it, but there's a lot more people that are highly sensitive to it. And what about your children and your children's children who have to deal with this? Now, on the other side of this, I have an immunity issue still. I don't want my grandchildren exposed to this junk. I want them living in an environment where they can breathe. If I'm in a store that I'm in too long, my throat starts to burn and I start to cough and I can't breathe. So this is very, very serious. You can contract this allergy at any time in your life, by the way. I have now talked to people that have children that are having these issues, and I feel so bad for these kids, because when I'm standing by somebody who has a product that they've washed with this stuff or new clothes, I can barely breathe, okay? I can't imagine what it's like for a child to have to be in a classroom with a bunch of people that they have to deal with this. So we need to become aware that's what these videos are. And you know what? I don't care what people think. This isn't my opinion, a guess, but I think all you got to really do is your research. So that's one thing. That's the out. What can I do out there? Now, what can I do in here to minimize the chemicals within my home? All of them, formaldehyde, all of them, because eventually I will get better. And that Playbook Plan actually has also therapies and remedies. It will take you on my journey. I am on a journey, and it's going to take you on my journey. And as I go, I fill this in. So it's going to talk about therapies for the symptoms, and it's also going to talk about remedies. And one of the best therapies is to reduce the chemical exposure in your home, to not use laundry detergents that have formaldehyde or high amounts of chemicals at all. Okay. And if you're one of those people who have this belief, well, you know what, I'm okay, you're going to die of something. Well, think of your children. And that's what I say. And then also to just, if anything, limit the amount of chemicals that you're using. I dilute and minimize the chemical exposure. There's some smart thinking, preventative measures to help not just yourself, but your kids and their kids. So understanding that, and then understanding, how does it get in my home? Well, it gets in my home through me. If I've been sitting somewhere, like when I go get a blood draw and I sit down, guess what? It's on my clothes. And then it gets on my furniture. It gets into my couch cushions. It gets everywhere, in my bed, on my hair. It's all over my hair. And I bought these hair rubber band things, the cloth ones. I can't seem to get it out. Okay. I've been soaking them for like 2 weeks now. So, and then it gets in your hair. Here's the question. Is it everywhere, or am I just breathing it in and my body is responding? That's a question for another video. Right here, I'm just focusing. I want to minimize it anyway, no matter how much. I don't want formaldehyde in my home. So if you feel the same way, what you need to do is think very smart. How does it come in your house? So it comes in through yourself. It's on you because you've been somewhere. You've been exposed to it. It comes in through guests. It comes in through the mail. It comes in letters. It comes in a box. When I opened up a box the other day, it hit me because the person that put the stuff in the box was using probably either a detergent that has it in, or they didn't wash their clothes. So it was in the box. So I handle my mail a certain way. It can come in through your mail person. So you have to think of those things. You have to think about, well, what am I going to do with the mail? Well, I have a little plastic container where I put my mail in, and then I handle my mail in my basement in a certain, I call it the containment area. It's where I do all my cleaning and getting this stuff out of my house. My garbage bag is down there for the formaldehyde. I never, ever take and clean out my vacuum canisters and dump them into my kitchen garbage, which is right here. I never do that. They go downstairs, away from me. I'm reducing the chemical exposure in my home. And I'll talk about that more in other videos. I just want to move on quickly now and talk about the assessment. So now what I do is I went through each room and said, how does formaldehyde get into my home? So trying to reduce it, but then once it's in my home, what can I do to get it out? And that's clean. So in each room, what I initially did, I said, how long does it usually take me to clean this room once someone's left? And literally, I have to do that. And what are the hardest things? What's the toughest things to get clean? What's the most time consumption? Because for most people, that might not be a big deal. But for me, because of the allergies, I need to get it out of here quickly so I can be relieved from the allergy symptoms. So I look at different things, like in my front room, anything cloth type. Okay, think of a heavy, almost like a sand, okay? There's heaviness to it, but it flies around like a dust. I'm not sure if it's a dust, if it's a gas. I believe it's a resin. So think of nail polish that's just turned into tiny molecule bits, okay? And it has weight. So it's going to land on my curtains. It's going to land on my TV, on my couch, especially in my couch. It's going to go right into the cushion. It's going to land on any open shelving that I have. It's going to land on those little fake plants up there. It's going to land on this. It's going to land on my fan. And so I look at that and I say, okay, first of all, then I'm going to declutter. I'm going to take out anything that I don't want in my front room that can minimize, or I'm going to put it into a shelf that's protected like this. This is a utilitarian cupboard. It has some of my beautiful things, including my glass in here, my hand painted glass. Secondly, it has a place where I can put things. I have a plan for my kitchen, which I'll talk about that in my kitchen videos. Lastly, it blocks that window with that woman with the dogs. Okay, so great thing. But even like that bowl, you know, what can I do? Do I really need that bowl up there? No. But do I also want to live like I'm in some type of a sterile box? No. So for example, once I've gone through and decluttered, then I start to make plans of minimizing the cleaning time. So for example, that bowl, you can't tell, but I have wrapped the top of that bowl with saran wrap really tight. So when I go to dust, and I'm going to show you how to dust in another video and how to clean, but when I go to dust, then I don't have to clean out that bowl. I just have to dust, you know, from the top. Always think from the top down. So I dust the ceiling first, then the walls, and I mean, it's very quick. I'll show you the duster in the other videos. And then I just dust the top of that bowl and around the top, and I just come down on the sides. Done. Okay. So now look at this shelf. How long is it going to take me to clean out this once someone's gone? Okay, because it's going to get everywhere. It's going to get on top of the bookshelf. It's going to get behind it. It's going to be everywhere. It's going to be in every single one of these nooks. So what is my plan? Well, if you can see, I have these cubby drawers, and I've just bought another one. The problem is it's full of formaldehyde. So I have to degas it. Look up degassing or off-gassing or gassing off. Look that up. I have to remove the chemicals out of there and get them as off-gassed as possible. And then I can put it in here. So, all right. So all those little cubbies, now I don't have to clean them. I can just take a duster and boom, I'm done. What about these? What am I going to do? Oh my gosh, that's a lot of stuff. And do I want that there? Yes, I do want to live. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get plexiglass, a big thing of plexiglass, and I'm going to make a hinge. I'm going to have hinges on it, and I'm going to have it go down. My little fireplace, and underneath there's stuff there too. So there'll be a plexiglass door. So this is what I'm saying as far as plan. Here, the formaldehyde, the chemicals, they go down behind because they're like dust, and they're going down underneath into the floor. And so I will have to pull this out. Right now what I've done is I put ceramic tile. I butted it up against the wall. So I still have to clean, but it's going to be much easier. Now, what about my cloth lampshades? And so this is how you do it, and you actually do it a little at a time. If you don't have an allergy, this isn't like an immediacy. And if you do have an allergy to this, it is an immediacy, but it's going to take time. So that's my plan for that. I create a strategic plan in my Google Sheets a little bit at a time. Every single day, I do something to minimize that chemical exposure. That's what I call it, minimizing chemical exposure in your home. Okay, what about those plants? Those plants have little lights in them. I'll show you my haul in another video, and I'll touch base on them again. But you know, in my brain, I'm like, oh, I can't live without those plants. I just love them. They're just beautiful. And they are. They're so pretty when they're lit up, and at night, it's just so gorgeous. But to clean them after someone leaves is a lot. It's a job, because the dust lands in them, and if I don't get them really, really clean, the next time I walk by them, the fan goes on, which I have to clean the fan too, all of a sudden it's all over again. And I literally have this in my Google Sheets, and I make the list, and as I think of things, I put it in there, and then I just kind of address them as I can as I go. Here, this is a shelf that I made in my kitchen. I made it a long time ago, but it did not have doors on it. So my plan, I just got done with the doors, and I just made them out of wood, and I'm not a carpenter by any ways. Okay, you can see they're not like professionally done. What this did was all those shelves in there, I don't have to clean them anymore. It's minimized the chemical exposure. Here I'm going to do plexiglass. Now I also want to try something because plexiglass is expensive and I don't know if I can buy all this plexiglass all right away. I'm going to actually try to make, you know how you take the plastic and you put it on your window? I am going to try to do that. So what I'll do is I'll build the frame for the plexiglass, and then I'll use plastic and I'll heat it up just like you do on the window. Point is I'm constantly working on minimizing, and I literally calculated on that Google sheet. So what I've done is basically I look at the room at large and I say, well, someone leaves and I have to clean this, and I do. How long does it take me? Well, because of that couch, it takes me hours. So I'm going to address the couch issue first. I'm going to talk about that in another video. But you can see there's leather over the arms. What does that do? It minimizes me having to vacuum, because I have to vacuum over and over and over again. And if you can see, I've got plastic here because that's all I can do right now. And that minimizes me having to clean that part of the couch. So, but I look at the room, I declutter it first, and it's going to take time. You know, what can I live without is really what it is. We're so used to having so much stuff, and that's part of the way we live. You know, when you want to live comfortably, we want to walk in our home and feel a nice home environment. I don't want to live in a sterile environment. So what can I do to keep that home looking like a home, but minimize my cleaning and the chemical exposure in my home? And so that's my plans, and I'm going to make more videos like this, but I'm going to end this video now. Just do some thinking about it. Go watch my video on formaldehyde. I'll put the link below. And then as I do more videos, I will have them on my chat room. So please like, subscribe, and share. Until I see you next time, please stay safe and stay healthy. And I really hope to see you again here in Lisa's chat room.